Welcome to That Seems Unfortunate. You get a front row seat as we try to turn our ideas into reality. I'm Steven Bridenstine here with Chris Vittorio, and we're your hosts for this show. How you doing, Chris?
Pretty good. I like the update in the intro, buddy.
Yeah, I remembered this time. I wasn't sure if I would.
No, and I don't know how many of you are going to notice that, but in that beginning bass track, I actually smacked my dresser with the head of the guitar.
Oh, nice. You, again, cut out. Every week it seems like you cut out, so I've gotten better and better at just guessing when to jump in.
And you got it right again there, friendo.
Woo! I have been so swamped this week. Did you know I had 5 exams this week?
5?
Yeah, literally 5.
5. That's like too much.
Yeah, I had 3 on Monday, and then 1 Tuesday and 1 Thursday. But, like, man, the start of my week was terribly tiring.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun time. Now it's weekend, so there's no more exam. You can't have exams on the weekend. That's
well,
martial law.
Yeah, you can, because I've had to do that before. It was just online.
Yeah, I've had that before, actually, too. But I don't right now, and that's all I can be happy about.
Indubitably. So, before we really start getting into the whole MK Ultra project as we have been doing for these past 2 weeks, I came up with another idea for a book. Not a TV series, but instead a book that I really want to go through with. And I might start writing tonight.
Oh, cool.
So get this, right? For many of our viewers, it's going to sound really familiar. Picture The Breakfast Club, okay? But instead of in a school, put them on a road trip and get rid of one of them because there's only going to be 4 characters.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something. Don't take this as a negative thing. Take this as a positive thing. That's been done before.
It has. I know.
Yeah, but, like, that's always fun to do, to, like, put your own spin on it and add to it.
Yeah.
I know.
Because the reason I came up with this idea, because I was remembering the time you and I and a bunch of other people went to see Paper Towns, the movie.
Yeah,
and
movie sucked.
Well, not the whole movie, but the end definitely sucked. The ending was a hack. Anyway, yeah, like during that whole road trip scenario, I'm like, oh man, that might actually make for just a really good like little novella in and of itself, just a little road trip like that.
So big things to answer with that, and I say this as someone who's seen a lot of like road trip things. The big things you need to answer are where are they going and what makes the characters stand out.
Yeah, and I think every character is going to have his own personality trait.
Yeah,
which is exactly what I'm going to focus on.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a good way to like build your character building. Which is also what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks.
Yes. And you know what? This is a totally separate story, but I thought it was just really funny because I was remembering this book we read in like 8th grade, right? And I'm like, man, I remember the title of that book. I remember how it went. That was a really good book. Who wrote that book?
What book?
So, Anthem, right?
Ayn Rand?
Yeah, exactly. And when I saw it was Ayn Rand, I was like, wait,
you mean that...
Like that person I look up to in terms of politics? That person?
You're an objectivist?
No, I'm an anarchist.
Well, Ayn Rand is the face of objectivism.
True. But also a heavy anarchist philosopher as well.
Oh, cool. That's good.
I'm like,
really? Her objectivism did not go over well.
No, it did not. But no, like, just throughout that whole book, you know, you see, like, how a completely... Let me rephrase that to where it actually makes sense. A society completely devoid of individualism would be absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
So, that's the part of the novel I really liked.
Yeah, that was a pretty good book.
It was, and I really want to find a copy of it. I want to read it again.
Well, on the subject of road trip movies, or not movies, but books and stuff, I remember seeing a movie on Netflix not too long ago that was a road trip one. Only the big thing was it was 3, I don't think they were mental patients, but they were like kids with like mental disorders in like a kind of like a group home situation almost, and then their like goal was to find, I think, this guy's mother.
Okay.
And so the 3 characters were like, I think one had OCD, one had Tourette's, and one had anorexia. That's what it was, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so they went on this road trip, and it was like all 3 of them got to overcome their various hang-ups and things as they traveled. And they were also being chased by the Tourette's boy's father and the leader of the group home the whole time.
Well, that's
which
one
was
way of
also
putting it.
Interesting. But it was a good movie. I actually really enjoyed it. It was...
What's it called?
Crap. Oh, no, I don't remember the name of it.
I know, right? Like, but it was really good. What was it called again? Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, does Netflix have like a viewing history?
Probably. I would assume so.
It's probably not too long ago on there. Yeah, it was a really good movie. While we're suggesting mental health related Netflix movies, have you ever seen Short Term 12? I can speak.
Short Term 12?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It is my favorite movie.
Well,
surprised I haven't talked about it on here before. So it follows mainly a couple.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a whole group thing. But it's they co-run like a group home.
Okay.
And it basically just follows like the different kids and their backstories. Mainly a new girl that comes in and like just handling like these inner city kids. And there's like there's nothing like super major to it, and that's kind of my favorite part is the fact that there is nothing like crazy major that goes on.
Yeah.
It's just average everyday life there, which is good enough to watch as a movie. It's really well done. It stars Brie Larson. I don't know if you know who Brie Larson is.
Not a clue.
She's really great. And so I highly recommend it. Crap, it shows each TV episode as its own individual thing. This is going to take a while. Well, not.
Like, this is going to be forever.
Yeah, like how am I supposed to find one movie in a sea of TV binging?
True.
Crap. Well,
that's the real question now, isn't it?
Well, there's the fundamentals of caring. That movie was okay.
Was it?
It wasn't my favorite, but it was pretty alright. What is this?
I've been there. It was pretty okay.
Psych. Wait, when did I watch this movie? It had to be
real questions.
I know, right? Like, I want to find it like relatively quickly here so that it's not like taking a time.
You know what? If ever we take like just a while to do that, I just want to sit here. We're gonna do the Jeopardy song because I mean that's what you do when like you're supposed to be waiting for something.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess.
Just right. I mean.
What is this?
I don't
even remember watching this movie. Apparently I did at one point. Don't remember.
Oh wow.
So I guess we can just go on ahead. Maybe I'll find
we'll figure it out later.
Yeah. So today, since we finished up our character creation for our MK Ultra drama last week,
yes,
we have we haven't yet, but we are going to start our relationship building process, I guess.
Indeed.
So basically, we'll just be taking every character and kind of giving them like other characters that they are very closely related with.
And we already kind of started doing that too. Like in the last episode, we vaguely just hit on a couple things, like the drug addict patient would kind of get to know the normal patient. Yeah.
And then also the fight between the what's the word I used? The nice word, seductive volunteer.
Seductive volunteer.
And the prostitute patient.
Ah, yes! The little cat fight we were going to have going on.
Yeah.
I vote we completely do that, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on board.
I think that would just be really funny.
I'm like convinced that I'm not gonna find this movie.
Just absolutely convinced, everybody.
Let's go to Google. I've done this before. I searched.
I believe you.
Someone asked me what my favorite music. The Road Within. There we go.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, The Road Within. I think it's
I
still
like
on
it.
Netflix. Really, really good movie. I found it by Googling mental disorder road trip movie. Which, again, lines up with someone asked me what my favorite music-related movie was. And I was trying to think of August Rush. You ever seen that?
I've never seen that.
It's about this little boy who's like a music prodigy, and it's great. It's like a really well-received movie. But I couldn't remember the name of it, so I just Googled little boy guitar movie. And August Rush was the first response, and I was like, that's it.
Boom!
Found it. So
yes, that one.
Googling really awkwardly specific details about movies happens to find the movie.
Yes.
So yeah, Road Within. Watch it. Okay. Back to relationship.
Road Within, everybody.
Yeah. So how do you want to go about this? Should we just go through each character one at a time and then like basically say who they're closestly connected with?
Yes, but I feel like if we do that at the same time, this is a good thing. We'll kind of narrow down like who has relationships with who, so that once we get down to the final characters, we only have to do like one or two people for them.
Yeah, it'll also help us figure out who's more important and who's less important to the story.
Because like say you like do one of the doctors first, and you figure out all his or her relationships. You can assume that like if you get to the next character, you won't have to do that relationship with them because you don't really because you already have the answer.
Yeah, it'll be the vice versa thing.
Yeah, it's like and this correlates with that.
Okay, so if we start from the top of the list, excuse me, hold on. We have our lead doctor.
Yes.
Who had the personality traits, if you remember, of power hungry, unshakable, kind of a dick.
Yes, indeed. The best way to put it, indeed.
So, obviously, I don't think he would have very many close relationships.
No, not a whole lot.
Obviously, with
maybe with one of the doctors.
I can't see any of the doctors connecting with him. Based on the 3 personality types we have.
Yeah.
I couldn't see him getting along with an egomaniac. Teacher's pet, it wouldn't work. Better if he just bosses him around rather than gets close to him. And then the hippie, they wouldn't really get super close. So I could see, like...
having a co-worker sort of mentality towards one. Or all of them, rather. It's like, I'm working with this guy.
Yeah, so I could see, works... slightly with all 3 doctors. And then some questions would be like, I think this answer would be no, but would he be the one having the affair with the seductive volunteer?
Nah, that would be too easy.
Yeah, too obvious. A little too cliche.
Yeah.
So his connection with the volunteers, would it be mostly just uninvolved? But
yeah. Pretty uninvolved.
Kind of like the banker in Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, just like he's
there. He's up there in the shadows and occasionally makes very rude, passive-aggressive calls down and makes demands.
Indeed.
Guy was a dick.
That is the best way you could have put that too.
Yeah. Okay. So
you're on the roll. You're on a roll today, Steve.
Yeah,
good job.
I'm pretty good at what I do,
I'm proud of you.
So, what it's kind of getting at is that this lead doctor isn't going to be as major as it would be assumed, considering he's like the head of the thing.
Okay.
I think down the road he becomes more major. I think early on you don't really get much into him.
Yeah.
He's kind of just this soulless guy that is just there and everybody doesn't really like.
He's just kind of there.
But then once the whole plot thing goes down and the reporter comes in, I think that's when he starts becoming more major and starts getting more developed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say early on, just kind of uninvolved.
Okay.
And then what about with Patience? Does he
I don't think he's gonna have like any sort of relationship with the patients at all.
Yeah.
Like completely disregarding them entirely.
Okay, I can see that. That's
their numbers on a sheet.
Yeah, that's the thing is because there's like different jobs that need to be done, and we're basically deciding who would do what job.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I guess basically we've decided that this lead doctor does not really do much of any job, other than bossing everybody else around. And I think that's fine. I think that fits pretty well early on.
He's basically Hitler.
Yeah, literally Hitler.
Literally Hitler.
Okay, so now we have the egotistical doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So with someone egotistical, it's always hard to give them a relationship with anyone.
Yeah, wait, for who now?
The egotistical doctor that, like...
Yeah.
The one that is, quote-unquote, saving the world, and then once the revolution starts, he's now saving all the patients. He's like this hero.
Yeah. I don't know if you can have a... You know what? Let me think about that. Because, like, I know he wouldn't have anything to do with any of the patients. He would probably never see the patients. But like I think he would go out of his way not to see them.
Okay, so I guess we could answer the question right now.
At least at first.
When it comes to the doctor or doctors that the seductive volunteer is having an affair with, which one would be the best? I think it'd be this one.
The ego doctor?
Yeah. This one fits perfectly.
I can see it.
Or at least much better than the other two would.
Yes.
So, that's good. That's good to get that out of the way.
Yes.
So with the other doctors, obviously we already know with the lead doctor there's not much going on. But with the teacher's pet and the hippie.
See, for the hippie, I want to hit this one right now while I'm thinking about it. What I think is, like, he would have some sort of, not a particularly positive, but not a negative
I didn't get any
idea for the patients.
What was that?
Like, the hippie doctor wouldn't have, like, a negative relationship with the patients, but he wouldn't technically have a positive one. Like, they're there and he accepts that.
Okay.
You know? Like he's willing to associate with them, at least to a degree.
Okay. What about the other two doctors then? Would they not associate with the patients at all, or would they?
I think the hippie doctor would have the most association with the patients out of all the doctors, but for the others, they would like have to do it from time to time.
I could see the teacher's pet being something of a punisher.
Explain.
Like if one of the patients are in trouble and the lead doctor's not happy with them, he just calls the teacher's pet and says, rough them up.
Yeah, I can see that to some degree. Because,
like, obviously doctor-patient interaction is minimal with the volunteers being there.
Yes.
So I feel like any interaction would be super negative between patients and the teacher's pet.
Yeah.
But for this egotistical doctor, I'm still trying to figure out. It'd be tough to have him, other than the affair with the seductive volunteer. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. To put it in layman's terms. Indeed.
I'm trying to think like what would be good for him.
See, I don't know, honestly, for that one. That one's different.
I think he would be very uninvolved with everyone.
You think?
Kind of like almost that he thinks he's better than them, so he wouldn't associate with them, except for, his side piece. I know it's tough to have the first two characters be mostly uninvolved with everyone else, but...
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how it could work, you know what I mean?
Well, so I guess this comes to the question of what do the doctors do? They just interpret.
Did we ever clarify that?
The data, right? No, we never. Yeah. That's definitely something we should probably get out of the way.
Yeah, because I would assume the doctors, they run the tests, they collect the data, and that's it.
So how do they run the tests?
Well, during MK Ultra, there was that big thing with the isolation chambers.
Yeah.
So I would assume, they're kind of in charge of those chambers. They perform the tests on the patients in the chambers.
If the experiment would go down with the patient being put into the chamber, being monitored and recorded on what happens, the volunteer would be the one putting the patient into the chamber, and then the doctors would be the one monitoring and recording?
Yes.
So basically the patient would not ever really see the doctors.
No, like I assume with isolation chambers, you get like that glass window.
Yeah.
Like the one where you can see the doctor. Where you can see the doctor and the doctor can see you.
Okay. Is that
so?
Is that how it would work? Are you sure it wouldn't be like full on isolation? Like,
it might be.
Because they also did sensory deprivation.
They did. You're right.
Which was that like submerging in water and things like that.
Yeah. So maybe like when it comes to things like that as well, the doctor would be more involved.
I think I kind of like the idea of like the patients never seeing the doctors.
You think?
I think that might be good. Or maybe like very rarely seeing them, or at least never seeing the head doctor.
Yeah, no,
and
never
very
seeing
rarely
the head doctor.
Seeing
definitely.
the other ones, especially during the experiments.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
I think giving them that air of mystery is probably better.
It could, yeah. You're not wrong.
So that would make it pretty difficult to do any relationship with the doctors.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense to have, at least for the Ego one, have like very uninvolved with pretty much everyone other than the seductive volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on, let me mark that down. And then that would probably take away the Punisher thing from the teacher's pet. I don't think that would be very important. We could give that to the unethical volunteer.
We could.
I'm fine with not having character names or using character names right now, but it's always like every time I say like Ego Doctor or something like that, it sounds dumb. I know it's fine as a placeholder. Yeah. But man, I'm like,
well, you can always call him Smart Alec like you did before.
That's true. He.
You and your puns.
Yeah, when I'm on, I'm on. What can I say?
Listen. I'll put it like this: if you won't let me forget my jokes, I won't let you forget yours.
Hey, that's actually going into the show, so of course I won't forget it.
I know, and plus it's still funny.
It is.
At least.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Okay, now for the teacher's pet, I think he would kind of be like, I don't know, anger the other doctors, just kind of bother them, like an annoyance almost.
Mm-hmm. There's a way to do this, I swear.
And then let's see, with the volunteers. So what is the doctor-volunteer interaction like? This was a question that wouldn't be answerable with the egotistical one, but
more of like I would say, to put it in a weird way, like an executive secretary sort of relationship.
Okay.
Like they know each other on a more personal level, but it doesn't go much past like the workplace.
Okay. Yeah. So they only like interact like outside of experiments, but like still in the building kind of deal.
Yeah, and they can like, know each other on some sort of personal level. It doesn't have to just be strictly business.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely something that is slightly out of my element, is the idea of like I tend to, I guess, gravitate to more down-to-earth characters, but none of these characters would fit being like down-to-earth as I normally
not particularly
do. So yeah, it's definitely slightly out of my comfort zone, but
that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. Because like in my head, every time I try to associate two characters, it always goes to like a high school drama where they're like they hang out by the lockers and they talk about their day. But it's like, nobody would do that in this. None of these characters. This isn't the place for that.
No. Now, like, you can have some like casual conversation between characters, like between tests, for example. Like, say the doctor and the volunteer are walking back after an experiment, and they'll like have some sort of conversation about something.
Yeah.
But like, other than that, you're not gonna really get a whole lot out of that relationship.
I think these doctors are gonna be kind of hard to tiptoe around, because we kind of got three very gravitating, as I say that word again, personalities.
Yeah.
You get four if you count the head.
Four. Yeah, four like different personalities.
And they're very like different.
And they're not normal. They're extremes.
Yeah.
Of a lot of things.
Which is, I think, as of right now, I don't see any reason for that not to be good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it also makes it kind of a minefield on how we walk around it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have like this fully egotistical, fully annoying, and then fully like casual.
Fully casual, guys.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
We created a filthy casual.
Yeah, normies.
Well, to be fair, in gaming, I'm a casual, so.
Yeah, I'm not. I wish I was. Okay, so
I don't want to be competitive.
When it comes to the volunteers, what is the relationship between the volunteers and the teacher's pet?
The volunteers and like the teacher's pet. God. See, I didn't think enough ahead for that one.
Because, like, so here's the way I'm trying to picture it, is if all of the three, like, lower doctors and all four of the volunteers were, like, kind of, I don't know, on, like, a lunch break or something, how would they interact with one another? And with
I feel like the best way I can put this, straight up, is, like, a less, like, familiar... Okay. You'll understand what I mean by familiar in a second. But like a less familiar version of like everyone in the Big Bang Theory sitting around the lunch table. You know? Like they don't know each other as well as those, but like they it's still that sort of setting.
Okay. Because yeah, with the egotistical doctor, it made sense to me for him to like almost eat by himself or eat with like maybe the seductive volunteer occasionally, but like kind of laugh off everybody else, kind of like your standard I'm better than you kind of attitude. I think that works well when it comes to interacting with other people.
You know what, I actually gave you the wrong idea. My brain was in a completely other place.
That's
okay, no, I'm sorry. No, like, see, you were asking me, like, the volunteer's relationship for the teacher's pet doctor, right?
Yeah, and then you gave me, like, a setting.
No, I gave you the relationship between the volunteers with each other.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that'll come into play, definitely.
Like that, so there, I answered that one already.
That's good.
I jumped ahead by accident. As for the teacher's pet, they probably all hate him.
Yeah, I was thinking more of, like, he acts like almost like a schoolyard bully.
Yeah, but a little bit more extreme than that, I think.
Yeah, where he kind of like not like a mean one, but like kind of I can't think of the word. I can't think of specific
annoying.
Words yeah, like kind of just an annoying dude. Like he walks around and he like
kind of like that kid from Recess.
Yeah, like he like eats somebody's sandwich or something.
Yeah,
and he walks up and
that
he like
guy.
Yeah, kind of like just the guy that messes with everyone and thinks it's funny.
It's literally, he's that guy.
Yeah.
Our audience will know what I mean by that guy.
You guys get it.
You know who I mean by that guy. So there's your answer for that.
And then with the patients.
Mm-hmm.
Did we already say something about the doctor-patient thing? They're very uninvolved with one another.
Yeah, they're very uninvolved with one another. The patients simply see them as the people who conduct the tests.
Yeah.
the devils that, that do the bad things.
Okay. And then lastly, for the doctors, we have the hippie.
Yeah. And like I said, he would have like a more neutral sort of feeling towards the patients.
Yeah.
Like he's like, man, it sucks, and I get it, but we got to do it.
I think he'd be more detached from the doctors and more friends with the volunteers.
Yeah. With the volunteers, I can definitely see.
Yeah.
But in terms of patients, he's like, man, I know what we're doing kind of sucks, but we kind of have to.
Yeah. Greater good
We don't
thing.
really have a choice. Yeah. Until, like, that big thing happens, and then he probably does a 180 at some point.
Okay, so detached from other doctors, friendly with volunteers, and indifferent towards patients. Okay. So I think this is pretty good.
Like, I wouldn't say completely indifferent. It's more like an indifferent sense of like sympathy.
Yeah.
Or empathy.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. I just didn't want to write like greater good because it wouldn't fit on the line.
Yeah. Not particularly. It's
I
like,
needed to cram it into a line.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
I'm pretty sure I'll understand.
I'll cram you into a line. I don't know what that means.
Hopefully I'll remember what indifferent means down the road. I'm sure I will.
Well, if you don't, I will, because I'm the one who put it up.
Yeah. Okay.
I should hope I remember my own ideas.
And, well, I forget my own ideas all the time.
I was going to say, most of the time I don't, but hey.
So for the volunteers, I think the relationships are going to be a little bit more in depth because we've previously said that this was going to be our main focus.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the volunteers.
Yeah, that's going to be a more lengthy
and so
dealio.
For the ethical volunteer, the logical one that like is out to save the patients but doesn't really act much, I'd say so I think with the doctors we can make it general, but I think with the patients and other volunteers it needs to be more specific, different relationships with each character.
Almost definitely.
Because where the doctors were like very general, like, oh, this is how they feel towards all patients or all doctors or all whatever. I think these need to be more specific.
Yeah, they should.
I'm
still going with that when they're all together at the lunch table, it's like the Big Bang Theory, except like they don't all live with each other.
Yeah, that makes sense. Man, I wanted to do this a little more well put together for my I wanted to like chart it almost, but
well, we can like update it later too.
It'd be hard to do. Yeah. So for this ethical volunteer with the doctors, I think all the volunteers to the doctors are going to be kind of uninvolved. It's basically what like each doctor was like, uninvolved with everyone but the hippie, but friends with the hippie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, except in the case of the seductive one, it's banging the ego one, and yeah, whatever. I think I think everything with the doctors has already been pretty well documented.
And I'm pretty sure the whole time with the seductive one there, just like I was going somewhere with that.
It sounded like you were, and then I like listened to you trail off from it, and I was like, I wonder if he's going to save this, and just nope.
No, I can save it. I'm sorry. My brain stopped working for a minute. No, I feel like we already know everything that's going to happen with the seductive character and her relationships with people.
Yeah, well, with the other volunteers, not so much. I think there's
less with
room
the
to be
volunteers.
explored.
But like, I feel like with that one, she doesn't care much about the patients. They're just kind of there. She has that one affair going on. She has the cat fight with one of the... Was it the volunteer or the doctor she had the cat fight with?
Volunteer and patient.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right, the prostitute.
Yeah. Well, she would have...
I don't think I've ever exclaimed that loudly before. Oh, that's right, the prostitute.
Oh, right, the prostitute. I think she'd have a different relationship with a few of the patients because we also had it documented that this volunteer would be like tasked to calm down certain patients.
Yeah.
So I think that would create like a different set of relationships with different patients.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there's room to be explored with that. But to start off with the ethical one, I would assume that they butt heads with the unethical one, thus the antonyms in title.
Yes, indeed.
So I think it would make sense for them to have a lot of arguments.
Yeah.
Over just pretty much everything, like even like non-serious things, like just very at odds with each other.
At each other's throats,
yeah,
so to speak.
Okay. I guess with the seductive one, that is a good question of what her relationship with the other patients would be, or with the other volunteers would be.
Oh. With the okay.
Yeah, so like the seductive volunteer and the logical volunteer, like how would they get along? Would they?
I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, would they even interact?
I'm gonna say like I don't see any particular conflict. So as far as we know, they just kind of know each other.
Yeah, they kind of just coexist.
In the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah, they coexist, and that's probably about it.
Okay. Yeah. And then with the motherly one, I don't know like the word I could use to describe it, but it's like they're fighting for the same side, but they still conflict with one another.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like they have different ways of approaching it.
Yeah. I don't know the word to use with that though.
They would be like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. The word motherly. That's
the motherly.
Okay, and then with the patients,
I swear every time you say motherly, I expect you to say something else. I expect you to say something else entirely.
That? Yeah.
Every time I expect you to say it, but you don't.
Nope. So with the patients, we have the prostitute. I don't think there'd be much of a correlation between these two. The prostitute and the logical volunteer. I can't see much being going on between them.
No, not a whole lot.
And then with the schizophrenic man or woman, I feel
like it would be better played by a guy. Because we have a lot of schizophrenic women in TV.
Do we?
Right now? Well, I mean, like not just TV, but like in video games. I remember just recently that game Murdered Soul Suspect, whenever that was released.
Oh, I don't even know that game.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I've
okay,
never heard of
it. It's like you're a cop, and there have been like the killing, like a lot of serial killings. It turns out to all be like witches and stuff. And anyway, you find a possessed girl, and that possession made her schizophrenic.
Oh, interesting.
It was really cool. Good game.
So with
maybe
the
7 out of 10
between these two, I think it would be positive from the eyes of the volunteer, but negative from the eyes of the schizophrenic.
Okay.
Almost like in that the volunteer sees him as like the poster boy for why they need to revolt, but because he doesn't really act or anything. He doesn't do anything to help the schizophrenic. He's just kind of like, look at this poor sap. Like, this is why we need to help people, but doesn't actually help him. Kind of like a cameraman in a documentary about starving African children. He just records them as they starve and goes, look at these starving African children. For just pennies a day, you can save them. And then he flies back home in his private jet. It doesn't actually. Well,
probably not a private jet, but he probably flies back at least in coach.
Yeah.
To his middle class home.
And so he's like sitting in the plane,
at least half stocked fridge,
like a stupid smile on his face, like, "Guys, I'm saving these kids' lives. Look at these. I'm helping these kids out." And then the kids are like, "What just happened? That guy sucks.
Why?
He didn't even do anything.
You guys are terrible."
So that's kind of what I'm seeing. Like positive from the eyes of the volunteer, but negative from the eyes of the patient.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
And put positive in quotes.
That was amazing. I want you to know that.
My analogies are always as good as they could possibly be.
You are on a roll today, especially.
I really try hard on my analogies.
That was really funny.
So with the CIA military patient I don't remember his name.
Well, that's not important right now.
I know, but we basically referred to him as his name because he was the real, like, person from the actual events.
Yeah.
But what would the relationship be there? Basically, so we should probably do a good job of defining what his character role is first. How long is he there? I don't think he'd be there from the start.
No, he wouldn't. He would be put there, like, in the middle of all of it.
I think he'd be important, but not there for very long.
No.
So the relationships would not be really much there at all. I think he would... Yeah. I think he'd only really interact with the 3 or maybe 4 doctors and then, like, the motherly volunteer.
Yeah.
And have that be it. I don't think he'd really interact with the other 3 volunteers.
No, not really.
Because it just wouldn't really fit his position or how long he's there.
No, not a whole lot, now that you mention it.
Okay, so that leaves the last 2 patients, the normal one and the drug addict.
Wait, I thought he was the normal one.
No. There was just the normal, like, straight up normal guy.
Normie?
Yeah, the normie. Like, remember the, like, most bland personality imaginable kind of guy?
The person I wanted to call Average Joe, but you wouldn't let me.
Yeah. The other play on words character.
Yes, indeed. You wouldn't let me do it.
That's an interesting character to do relationships with.
What, the average person?
Yeah. Like, how
especially
would
during, like, the 1950s.
Volunteers? Yeah.
Especially during the 1950s. Probably just kind of, like, doing what they say because he feels he has, like, no other choice.
We had decided that he was defensive, right? Rather than offensive.
Yeah. He's reactive.
Reactive, that was... Yeah, I remember that. So... I think his relationship with this logical volunteer would be similar to the schizophrenics, where it would be positive from the volunteer's end, but negative from the patient's, only he'd be able to vocalize it more.
Yeah, without being crazy.
Yeah. So he'd kind of almost point out...
He'd put it into better words.
Yeah, he'd, like, point out the volunteer's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Almost.
Or at least try to.
Yeah, he'd attempt to.
Yeah.
So... Okay. And then last would be the drug dealer.
You mean the drug addict?
Or drug addict. Yes. That's what
drug
I said.
Drug dealer strolls right on in. Yo, you guys want to buy some crack?
I have not eaten much today, so my
That's okay.
energy is really focused on being hungry.
That's fair.
I'm like half focused on this and half focused on being hungry.
I could use some pizza after this.
Right?
No, I have Belleria pizza in my fridge.
I have pizza next door.
Oh, you suck.
Right?
Boy.
Okay, so this volunteer and the drug addict. Would the drug addict have any kind of relationship with any of these volunteers?
Any of the volunteers?
Maybe just the motherly one, if any.
I was going to say, if anything, he's going to have a relationship with all of them, and that relationship is strictly going to be, do you have any drugs?
Yeah, so nothing really, like, worth mentioning.
No.
Just kind of a, you're here, do you give me drugs?
Do you have drugs?
Are you drug dispenser?
Are you drug dispenser? That's...
Okay.
That's stupid.
Okay, so that would mean that this volunteer, this ethical volunteer, would have 1, 2, 3, 4 major relationships.
Yeah.
Which isn't as many as I thought. But that's not too big of a problem.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. We're fine.
It's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong. I don't know if that was either. Okay, so for the unethical one,
yeah,
I think we already got, again, fights with the ethical one, with the ethical volunteer. That's pretty clear. What about anything with the seductive volunteer?
With the drug dealer?
No, the hothead.
Not the drug dealer.
See, now you're saying it.
Now I'm saying it. Good job, Steve.
The hot-headed volunteer. Do you see a hothead and a whore getting along?
No. In fact, I see a pretty abusive relationship there.
Okay. Ooh, that sounds like a thing. I could work with that.
Like...
So have, like...
Stop trying to have sex with the doctor!
Well, like, have the two of them also be doing it, but him be kind of more, like rude.
Jealous?
And then
jealous?
It, like, sparks the wrath of the egotistical doctor. And he, like, has a problem with it.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So it's like, he kind of doesn't have these very human qualities. He's just kind of just an egomaniac until this happens.
Things are getting steamy!
Yeah, and then you kind of see more of a human side of him.
Yep.
I could see that.
That's the best. This is great. I think we're doing really good.
Yeah, we're getting pretty good progress here. So let's see, where did we... So with abusive, yeah, I guess abusive would be the good word. Abusive towards seductive. And then what about with the motherly? Would there be anything?
And hothead.
Yeah.
I feel like they would just come, like, I think they would just butt heads a lot.
I think there would be like a notable like negative tension between the two of them, but it would never turn into anything.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's awful towards the patients and she likes helping the patients, but they both know that they're just working, and so they wouldn't ever let it blow up. Okay. And now with the patients. I think it'd be pretty... would there be a notably negative one with the prostitute? Would there be like enough... Obviously, I think it would just be negative between the two of them. But would it be notable enough to like have be mentioned?
What do you mean exactly?
Between the hothead volunteer and the prostitute.
See, I don't know. I was thinking like we could turn the hothead, like, seeing as like he could control the prostitute for his own personal gain, but at the same time, I don't know if that would work very well considering we already have him sleeping with the seductive volunteer.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and I kind of like where that story goes more than anything that could happen with the patient.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too.
So I think it's okay if it's not really anything notable between them.
So yeah, we could do something.
Now with the schizophrenic, there would clearly be a major point of conflict and negative with the two of them.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Like the hothead would often abuse the schizophrenic patient.
Yeah.
I feel like that could lead up to a point where the schizophrenic lashes out and attacks him.
Yeah.
That would be a cool plot point.
Yeah, I think that would work really well. It's definitely a very conflict-driven point of two characters. And then again, nothing with the CIA guy.
Yeah.
And then that just leaves the normal guy and the drug addict.
The normie.
The normie and the drug addict.
I love it.
So with the normie, I think it'd be almost like submissive of a relationship, like, where he like kind of just deals with it. Like the volunteer is awful to him and he doesn't really care. Well, he cares, but he doesn't care enough to like react.
Do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And then with the drug addict again, I don't think there'd be anything worth mentioning.
No.
Yeah.
Like the drug addict is after one thing and one thing only, and that's some crack.
Yeah, there'd be
some heroin or whatever.
Some nice one-liners between the two of them. Because they're both like awful people, but one doesn't care about the other being awful, while the volunteer would care about the drug addict being awful.
Yeah.
So I think there'd be some nice little like tongue-in-cheek trade-offs with them.
That would be funny.
Yeah, I like those. So this guy has 1, 2, 3.
You know what I feel like?
4.
You know what I feel like? What could happen with that?
What's up?
Like you said, there would be a lot of tongue-in-cheek between the hothead and the drug addict.
Yeah.
I feel like through that they could have like some sort of vague respect for one another, but still like hate each other.
Yeah, I think that'd
be pretty
just like,
good. Man, you're terrible, but you make it known that's not bad.
Yeah. So this guy has 4. I'm gonna say 4.5. It could say 5, but I don't think the tension with the
4.5.
I don't think the tension with the motherly one is enough to
spark anything.
Count enough as one important interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're on to seductive, and we already have that there's nothing much with the ethical, and then there's the abuse with the unethical.
Yeah.
So this is a good one. What about the motherly volunteer?
Okay, give me a person to like put her up against her.
I mean, with the seductive one.
Oh, with the seductive one.
Yeah.
I feel like the motherly one wouldn't particularly approve, but wouldn't do anything to stop it.
Yeah, kind of just like a disappointed parent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like, ugh, you're doing that.
Yeah, I think it'd be a very, like, I don't know what the word would be. They'd get along. There'd be a lot of constructive things from the two of them.
Yeah.
Like, almost like heartfelt in a way.
Okay, I see that happening.
I think they'd, like, get along.
At least to some degree.
Yeah. Like, to use another pull from an example. Like a bad student and a guidance counselor in a cheesy teen movie. They hate each other.
I was going to say, how cheesy?
Like, the cheesiest.
The cheesiest.
Yeah, there's constructiveness between the two of them. They may not always see eye to eye, but they respect each other.
So, kind of like Good Will Hunting, except, like, with more conflict.
Sure. Yeah. I could see that.
I'm literally just putting it up against things I know.
Yeah. And I'm putting it up to stereotypes I know.
Even better.
All right, and we already know from before that there's a lot of cat fighting with the prostitute.
Yes.
He. Yes.
I thought of a joke, but that joke can't go on YouTube.
We can't say that on TV.
We can't say that on the internet.
Thanks, Steve Harvey.
I'll put it on my Twitter later.
All right. That's good.
You know what? If you give me the link to the video, I'll put the link on my Twitter, and I'll just, I'll put the joke there.
Good. Awesome. All right. Now, how about...
I still have yet to make that Tumblr, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We were supposed to do that.
I meant to do that.
How about with the schizo? Would there be... that's the first time I said schizo. I have it written as schizo in my notebook, but I know that that's not, like, the nice way to say it. I know it's schizophrenic.
I mean, like, that's a way to say it, though.
It is a way, but I see it almost rude.
Like a derogatory.
It's good. It's good for shorthand writing, but I prefer to say schizophrenic.
But not good to call someone that.
Schizophrenic is much nicer, much more scientific, I guess. So what would be the relationship there? Would there be one?
Between the seductive
volunteer and the schizophrenic. Yeah, I could see one.
Not at all.
But
how?
because of her job with the patients is to calm them, I think he would be in the most need of calming.
Okay, I see that, but there wouldn't be like any sort of sexual tension between.
Well, I don't mean like sexual tension. I just mean like
absolutely none.
I just mean like, would there be a relationship worth mentioning? Like, I guess what I'm saying is there a world where the schizophrenic sees the seductive volunteer as more motherly than the motherly one?
No, I think he would see them on an equal plane.
It's possible.
Because there's the one that helps, and then there's the one that helps him specifically.
Maybe.
That's where my brain went with it.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, like, I guess it just depends on where we see the schizophrenic, like, normally, like, in his day-to-day. Because I think we had said before that he's kind of, like, not super vocal, like, and by that I mean, like, just very in the shadows, kind of like...
He's reserved.
Yeah. So, I think it would only make sense for him to be more, like, secure around one person.
Yeah, and that person would be the seductive volunteer.
My question is, would it be okay to have it be the seductive one, or is that, like, not worth it, or going too far?
No, you can do something like that.
Okay.
You can make something like that work.
Because I could see it being a good thing to work with. Obviously, it wouldn't be super major of a point, but I think it'd be a good thing to work through.
Almost definitely.
Okay, and then, again, nothing with the CIA guy.
Yeah.
So what about the normie? This is a good one. The seductive volunteer.
Normie and seductive. Not a whole lot I can see doing with that, you know. I don't see a whole lot.
All right. I see it. And then drug addict.
I don't know, honestly.
The question on everybody's mind.
See, would
he be banging her for drugs?
See, I was going to say something like that, but I don't see that happening in this particular situation, considering there's a massive experiment going on with mind control.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, but is it realistic?
But no, because I don't think they'd... You know what? I thought about it. They would have drugs.
Yeah.
They would have drugs.
I mean, they would be...
So, would he be having sex with the seductive volunteer to get extra drugs?
So here's where my head keeps getting tangled up. In the trade-off of sex for drugs, the drugs would be benefiting the drug addict, and the sex would therefore be benefiting the volunteer. Does that make sense?
Yes, I see it. It just sounds really weird. I can chalk that idea up as a solid maybe.
Yeah, because I could see it as possible, but
not like
if she's
necessary.
Already with two other people, what would be the appeal of this drug addict, you know?
Yeah.
Because as a patient, all he would be able to offer is himself.
And, yeah, pretty much.
And if she already has other selves, what would be so great about himself?
Self.
So, yeah, I'll put it as a maybe.
Solid maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, man. That is... I'm trying to think of, like, if that would even work. Because I see it working. Like, completely,
yeah.
But
I see it working as well, but, like... Does it?
But does it?
That's why it's good to mark it as maybe, because down the line we might see that it wouldn't work and we'd have to pitch it, or down the line we might see that it would fit perfectly into what we've done.
Yeah.
So the last volunteer would be the motherly one, and we already have her butts heads with the ethical.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mark down the tension with unethical. I don't think that's important enough.
That's not important enough.
Disappointed in seductive. And then with the patients, obviously I think she'd have a pretty positive relationship with all of them, right? Well, would she? Looking at it, there's not too many to have positive relationships with. I think with the normie and the CIA, like the real life guy, I think they would be positive.
Yeah.
But the other three, there isn't room for positive. That's... So, well, we have positive with CIA and normal. So what about with the prostitute? What would the relationship be there, if any?
Hang on, say that again. I need to register that.
The motherly volunteer and the prostitute.
Okay, because I had to set that up. Oh, man.
So, is there anything else? Is there anything else with the prostitute? There isn't much, is there?
Not really. We're almost out of time. Oh,
just
God.
with the... Yeah, I mean, we'll just go through the motherly volunteer with the patients here. We only need, like, 2 more after this. I think with the prostitute, it would make sense for her to be the most motherly towards the prostitute.
I don't know. Either most or least. Because of, the choices the prostitute has made.
Well, I think it would be in the same way as the seductive volunteer, where she's disappointed but still willing to help.
Yeah. Like it's a pity, almost?
Not really a pity. More of a helping.
Yeah, like we're like, you're in a bad place. We're gonna get you out of that place.
Yeah. Okay, and then so with the schizophrenic, I think it would be like she would try to help him, but he wouldn't.
Yeah.
He'd reject her help almost.
I don't feel like he'd reject it, but he wouldn't particularly be affected in the way.
Yeah, because he's more drawn to the seductive one.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be as like forthcoming with her.
Yeah.
And I think it would like bother her, but not like she wouldn't act on it. It would just kind of be more of an inward thing, where she would be bothered by the fact that she couldn't help him.
Yeah. So there's not a whole lot you can do with that one.
Yeah, I think it's enough to mention, but like there wouldn't be enough. And then with the drug addict, would there be anything?
The drug addict and the schizophrenic. I don't think so.
Well,
I really don't.
Yeah, I don't think the because with the motherly volunteer and the drug addict, I just don't think there would be anything.
Like at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because like she obviously wants to help all the patients, but I don't think there's enough to make anything worth it with the 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, the motherly out of the volunteers has the most relationships, but a lot of them are kind of general. So
yeah,
I think all the volunteers end up being equally important, which is good.
Yeah, they all have their own little role to play.
Yeah, both with each other and with the patients. I think we made some pretty good progress here.
Me too.
Next week we'll do the patients' relationships for a bit, which shouldn't take super long, but it'll just basically be patient with patient relationships. And then we'll move on to probably more just setting the stage for a pilot.
I like it.
I don't know if there's much else we have to...
I like it.
...to preface.
Yeah.
I think if we have the characters... We could probably do stuff with, like, not necessarily setting is in place, but setting is in how everything's carried out.
Yeah.
So that'll all be next week.
Yeah!
I'd say in no more than 2 or 3 weeks, we should be either in progress on or finished with the pilot.
Oh god, that's weird.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I know, right?
I'm excited.
Me too. Let's do it.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it for us.
Knee.
This episode's going to be coming out on Monday, so happy birthday to me if you're watching it the day it's uploaded.
Happy birthday, Steve!
Yay! Yeah. Be sure to follow all of our stuff below and subscribe if you're not and you liked what you heard. Hit that like button too if you want to. We'd really appreciate it. We'll be back next week with more of this.
And I swear to God, we need a more formal outro.
What is this?
We'll get there.
We do it. We'll do it. It's on the list.
It's on the list.
It's on the list of things
to do.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you guys next week. I'm going to go eat pizza. Bye.
Same. Bye.
Damn, everybody's birthday's this year.